Yeah, hello children. In the last class, we have completed discussing regarding Satyagraha and regarding Mahatma Gandhiji's new way of struggle against nationalism, against the British rule, and how non-violence has spread all over the India nation. Okay. So in the last class, we have ended with non-cooperation movement. We have just started upon the non-cooperation movement and we have ended that. We have discussed that we are going to discuss in the next class, right? Yes. So what is non-cooperation movement and why we are going to talk about non-cooperation movement? Okay children? Yes. Non-cooperation was launched under Gandhiji's leadership in 1920. It aimed at protesting against the injustice done to Punjab and Turkey and to attain in Swaraj. Educated middle class led the movement in towns and cities. Educational institutions, law courts and foreign goods were boycotted. Peasants under organized movements against talukdars and landlords in villages under the leadership of Baba Ramchandra. Tribal people started an armed struggle in the Gudem hills of Andhra Pradesh under the leadership of Alluri Sita Raju. Workers in the plantations of Assam started a struggle to get the right to free movement. Chauri Chaura incident forced Gandhiji to call off the movement. Okay, so non-cooperation movement. So why non-cooperation movement, children? First, so as per the famous book Hindu Swaraj, Hind Swaraj is a famous book written by our Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, as per his book, the book written by Mahatma Gandhi, the Hind Swaraj. In that book, he declared that the British rule came into the rule into like to the practice because of the cooperation of the Indians only. Okay. So he was of the view that if Indians had refused to cooperate, the British rule India will come to an end in a year and Swaraj would find its way. So what Gandhiji is saying here is that if the Indians had started refusing the cooperation, the British rule might have come to an end. It might have stopped within a year. But as they had started cooperating, they started their rule also to be continued. Okay. To detailedly talk about the movement or to detailedly materialize, discuss about this movement, Gandhiji decided to just read out the structure of movement. Gandhiji decided to work on in stage. So it was done in the following things. What means at first the titles were awarded by the British government were to be surrendered by the people. What happened? The titles the awards which were given by the British government to our people, they were asked or they were forced to return it back. And the boycott of civil services, armies, police, courts and legislative councils started, people started boycotting all the schools and foreign goods also. They stopped like using those things or utilizing those like civil services, army, police, courts and legislative councils and schools and foreign goods. If in case the government used repression, then a full civil disobedience campaign was to be launched. So these are the three things which Gandhiji started to materialize the movement. Okay. So Mahatma Gandhi and Shaukat Ali, they both joined extensively, they worked together extensively through the summer of 1920 to gain the support of the movement. So what happened next is, on the other hand, when they are trying this side, on the other side, there were some members of Congress. There were some members of Congress. What they have done is, they were not ready to support this movement. Some people who were in the Congress were not ready to support this movement. They were not in favor to boycott the council election which was to be held in November 1920. So most of them were afraid of any incident of violence. All are afraid of violence, they are afraid of their lives, they are afraid of their family and they were not ready to cooperate with the movement. those who were in the Congress itself. So in some months, like in the months between the September and December, there was a situation of tussle among the members of the Congress. There were some clashes, ideological clashes between the members of the people of the Congress. But in the Nagpur session of Congress in December, the Nagpur session of Congress in which year? December 1920, a compromise was worked out, a compromise between these two groups of people who were fighting against their ideologies and the members of the Congress. The compromise was worked out, and this led to the adoption of the non-cooperation movement. Okay, so though this movement started at a national level, but people involved in it had their own perspective. Even though they were compromising between these two teams, even though the movement was started like unitedly or overall the national level, still these people who were working or fighting for their things have their own perspective ideology. They have their own ideas of ways to fight against this British rule. Okay, in that the next one is different strands with the non-cooperation movement. Different strands with the non-cooperation movement. So first let me read. Movement in towns and cities. Educated middle class led the movement in towns and cities. Educational institutions, law courts and the council elections were boycotted. Foreign clothes and other goods were burnt in bonfires. People began to use khadi clothes. Government servants resigned their jobs. Liquor shops were picketed. So when we are talking about different strands with the movement, the non-cooperation Khilafat movement started in January 1921, children. So there are many types of social groups, different types of social groups. They all started participating in this non-cooperation movement. Different groups, okay, different varieties of groups of people started participating in the movement from all over the nation. But each of their own groups will be having their views, their aspirations and their perspectives thing, okay. Though all of them responded to the call of Swaraj, but their outlook for Swaraj was different from each other. Everybody were working for the Swaraj. Everybody were called out to fight, okay. Everybody were called out for this movement, but everybody were all of them were all of their having was different from each other. The just outlook for Swaraj, the people's outlook for Swaraj was different from each other. So loud. When we are seeing how it is differing, how the outlook of Swaraj was differing from each other is, the first one is the movement of towns, the movement in the towns, okay. So in towns what happened, the movement started with the middle class participation, okay, it started with the middle class participation. A large number of students left government controlled schools. Many people came out of the schools which were under government control schools, means it's British control schools, right? They came out of the schools and colleges because they want to boycott the schools and colleges which were run by the British government. So teachers, headmasters resigned and lawyers left their legal practices. So these people who are working under government jobs, like the teachers, headmasters from the government schools and colleges, and also the lawyers, they also left their jobs as their legal practices who were working in their British courts, right? So even the council elections were boycotted in most provinces except Madras. Except Madras, from all the places, the council elections were also boycotted. And the Justice Party of Madras, which was a party of non-Brahmins, they participated in council elections. As for them, it was one way to gain some power, which was generally vested with only with the Brahmins. Soon what happened is they boycotted the foreign goods. They started avoiding the foreign goods, okay. They started avoiding the foreign goods and also liquor shops like alcohols, there that also were avoided by these people, and the foreign clothes were burnt in bonfires, means all the foreign goods like clothes and materials which they were just importing from there and asking us to use were also boycotted, and also one side it was like just burnt, and this badly affected the British government economically. So when all the clothes, liquor, goods and all the materials of foreign things, when everything was burnt in the bonfires, this affected the British government economically. So the import of foreign cloth halved between like what? The import of foreign clothes like came to the half. So between 1921 and 1922. The value of the business also reduced to 57 crores. At first it was nearly 102 crores, but it was reduced to 57 crores. And not only this, the merchants and traders, they also refused to trade in foreign goods, and also or else the finance for the foreign trade. The people, the business people who were related to our India, they started refusing all the foreign trades which are linked with economically, financially. So with the spread of this movement, Indians began using clothes which were produced by our own Indian people. They started using those Indian clothes, and this led to the increase in production of Indian textile mills and handlooms. When our Indians stopped purchasing foreign clothes and when we started using our Indian products, automatically it led to the increase of Indian textile mills, where our Indians will get more jobs and our products we are using without paying any sort of taxes. So, but this movement, like they could not sustain for a long time. They're not able to they hand it for a long period because of the various reasons, such as like first one is khadi was very expensive cloth which was not affordable for most of the households, and students who boycotted British institutes, they were not able to find a suitable substitute alternative school or colleges when they came out, because there are no colleges or schools run by our Indians in the British rule. When they came out of, they don't have any alternative to join there. Let's similarly what happened, teachers and lawyers who left their jobs in the government's per side, they were also jobless and not able to survive, right? So for because of all these things, they were not able to sustain this movement for a long period. So such was a non-cooperation movement in the cities, failed, we can say. But what happened in the villages or the countryside, children? Shall we check what happened there, ma? So this is the same thing. The khadi clothes were very costly. The poor were not able to buy them. So Indians boycotted British institutions like law courts and educational institutions. But what happened is alternative institutions did not come up. So people had to stop boycott. Okay. So next is movement in the countryside. Movement in the countrysides, villages. Okay. Countryside means villages. Peasant movements. In Awadh, a peasants movement was organized by Baba Ramchandra. It was against landlords and talukdars. Reduction of rent and the abolition of begar were their main demands. They formed the Audh Kisan Sabha. So then Baba Ramchandra, he led a peasants movement in Awadh against talukdars and landlords. He demanded reduction of rent, abolition of begar and the boycott of landlords. In October 1920, he formed Audh Kisan Sabha with the help of Nehru. So here now Baba Ramchandra was also introduced. Now let us talk about the rebellion in the countryside. It means the movement in the countryside, villages. The non-cooperation movement spread in villages also. Not only in the cities and towns, it was spread in the villages too. So the struggle was joined by the peasants and the tribes also. So one such struggle, one of the struggle among that, like the peasant struggle of Awadh. The name was Awadh, that was led by Baba Ramchandra. Okay, he is a sannyasi, a rishi. Okay. Baba Ramchandra used to be an endured, like indentured, bonded, a very friendly person, kind laborer in Fiji, okay, So he started a movement against the talukdars and landlords who demanded high rents and various forms of seizures from the peasants. So he, Mr. Ramchandra, Baba Ramchandra, what he started is he started fighting back against the talukdars and landlords because they were just forcing the innocent people, the poor people, and like they were just grabbing all the lands from them. So he started fighting against these talukdars and landlords. Only those people who were demanding for high rents and seizing the lands of the peasants. Okay, the peasants had to work at landlord's farm without any wages. Peasants had to work at the landlord's farm without any wages, known as begar. So begar is a word where they will use that they will make use of people. They will take the people's help, like the people that like to treat them to work for them without giving any sort of salary or amount wages. Okay, those people were called beggars, and the peasants had no right over the leased land. They were regularly evicted and therefore they had no security for tenure. Even though for that they agreed and they are working, they don't know when their jobs will be gone, when they will fight without no reason. There is no guarantee, without any written format or something else. The jobs are not even guaranteed jobs, right? They will be removed at any time. So the peasant movement was initiated by the Ramchandra, like Baba Ramchandra, and he demanded for lowering down of revenue and abolition of begar. He was just fighting to abolish that system, like begar who was working without any wages. So at some places, Naidhobi Bands were organized by the panchayats. It was like a kind of strike by the barbers and the washermen. Nay, Dobi. Dobi means washerman, right? They also started a strike. The barbers and the washermen started a strike only to just get rid of the landlords from basic services. So in 1920, what happened is Jawaharlal Nehru went to the different villages of Awadh and tried to understand the problems that were faced by these peasants. So he went directly and met those peasants in the year 1922. So like that, Jawaharlal Nehru also started to enter into the problems of the peasants. So in October 1920, he formed Audh Kisan Sabha. The Audh Kisan Sabha was headed by Jawaharlal Nehru. So the Audh Kisan Sabha movement was led by whom? Headed by Jawaharlal Nehru and Baba Ramchandra and some few other people, volunteers. Soon what happened? Nearly 300 branches were set up in the village around the region. Overall 300 branches were set up. Okay. Then let us check here. So it also, like what happened is when Congress started the non-cooperation movement in 1921, it also integrated the peasant struggle in the wider struggle. So however, the movement later on turned into a different direction. The movement later on, what happened is it turned into a different direction. Like how, which was not acceptable by the Congress, which was not acceptable by the Congress people. As the movement spread, the peasants attacked. As the movement spread, what happened? The peasants started attacking the government offices. Like what happened is when Congress, like what happened, these peasants, when they started attacking the house of the Talukdars, because they were just outraged with the support which they were receiving, what they have done is they started attacking the houses of talukdars and merchants. But this is not our Gandhiji's aim, because he was just in the way of non-violence. When they were using the violence method, it was not accepted by the Congress people. And they looted the bazaars and took away the grains. Soon what happened? It was found that at many places local leaders have told peasants that it was instructed by Gandhiji that no taxes will be paid and land will be redistributed among the poor. The name of Gandhiji was misused in this case. So he was just struggling only for our own rights, but Gandhiji has never promised that the land will be given, these peasants who were fighting and these leaders of those people, they started using his name and they started looting some more like lands and amounts from the bazaars. So all these such things were started which were not at all acceptable by the Gandhiji, okay, by our Congress people. So that is how our Baba Ramchandra also helped and Jawaharlal Nehru also helped and followed Gandhiji's instructions. Okay guys, now let us discuss the tribal movement. In the Godam Hills of Andhra Pradesh, tribals started a movement under the leadership of Alluri Sitaram Raju. Tribals wanted to get back their traditional rights over forests. The methods followed by the tribals and the peasants were against the Gandhian method of non-violence. They followed violent methods of struggle. Okay. So, Alluri Sitaram Raju. He led a movement of the tribal people in the Godam Hills of Andhra Pradesh. Many people considered him as an incarnation of God. They believed that he had many special powers. He supported Gandhiji and asked his followers to wear khadi and stop drinking. But he organized an armed struggle against the British. So, this is a picture of our Alluri Sita Ram Raj. Okay, guys, and here the explanation part comes here. Okay. So, what is another such case was like the message of Mahatma Gandhi and the idea of Swaraj was again misused, misinterpreted like by the good mills of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, what happened is here a militant guerrilla or a militant guerrilla movement spread in the early 1920s. So this movement is called guerrilla movement and it was spread in the 1920s, which again was not a form of struggle accepted by the Congress. So when these people, these tribal people, when they started the guerrilla movement in the 1920, the same like the movement which was started by the Baba Ramchandra was not accepted by the Congress. In the same way, here also this movement, guerrilla movement, was also not accepted by the Congress because this was a violent way which is not accepted by the Congress and which is against the Gandhian movement. The reason behind the struggle, behind this struggle was only to prevention law made by the colonial government which barred the tribal people not entering into the villages for collection of fuel or wood or fruits or to graze their cattle. So why they have started is they were banned, they were stopped, they were barricaded not to enter into the village. These tribal people were stopped from entering into the villages. They can't even get the fuel or wood or food. They can't even. They must not. They should not even graze their cattle also. Those particular rules were followed by these ones. So they started their guerrilla movement fight also. And what happened is, not only this, the government forced them to work as beggars for building a road. So when this British government needs to construct something, they used to make use of tribal people because no need to give any wages for them, right guys? So the leader of this tribal movement was Alluri Sitaram Raju. He was a person who belongs to tribes and he led this movement. He stood first to fight against the British, all these rules, and everybody followed Sitaram Raju who declared, because Sitaram Raju declared himself as a man with so many superpowers and he even can bear the bullet shots. So like this, the Sitaram Raju, what he said is, he said that himself that he is having so much power, superpowers, that even the Britishers bullets can't get into him. And the tribals, as they were very innocent, they got impressed with these words and started following him and just made Illuri Sitaraju as God and also started following his way. So Raju was greatly inspired by Mahatma Gandhi because Alluri Sitaram Raju, he was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi, and therefore he also motivated the tribals to wear khadi and give up drinking. Alluri Sitaram, what he did is he like instructed, motivated, guided the tribal people to wear only the khadi dress and not to drink the alcohol. But on the other hand, what happened is he did not believe in the philosophy of peaceful. He respects Gandhiji, he is following Gandhiji's things, but he is not ready to accept this peaceful way, non-violence method. So he believed that Indians could be liberated with the use of force and not the non-violence. Even though he is a great fan of Gandhiji, he just followed only some of the Gandhiji style, but he didn't accept. He didn't he feels like non-violence is not the only way to get liberation. Like only the use of force is the only way that the Indian could be liberated. Okay. So the Gooden rebels under him attacked police stations. So under the guidance of Sitaram Raju, what happened is all these Gooden, the tribal people, they started attacking police stations. They attempted to kill the Britishers, and also they used what happened, the guerrilla welfare technique to receive the Swaraj, to achieve the Swaraj, to get back the Swaraj. So later on what happened is Sitaram Raju was arrested and he was sentenced to death by the British people, and he was given a death sentence in the year 1920, 1924. Even though he died, he was still considered as a folk hero, and till today his stories were read by all the Andhra people, and movies were also taken, children, in the name of Sitaram Raju, Alluri Sitaram Raju. As we have read that, everyone had his own way of interpreting Swaraj. So was the case of the Assam plantation workers. Like we saw, right? The Godam Hill Sitaram Raju and Jawaharlal Nehru's way, Baba Ramchandra, the people living in the towns, the people living in the cities, and the people living in the countryside villages, how they started their own way of fighting against the British rule. We had all seen all these cases. Okay, now we are going to talk about the Assam plantation workers who had also their own ideas of Swaraj and non-cooperation. What is it? Let us see in this plantation. Okay, guys. So, movement in the plantations. Workers in the plantations of Assam demanded the right to move freely in and out of the estates. They opposed the Inland Immigration Act of 1859, which took away the right to free movement. When they heard about the non cooperation movement, they moved to their villages. They thought that the Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone would be given land in their villages. However, they were caught and brought back. So, here the Swaraj. Withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement. Gandhiji withdrew the non-cooperation movement because the movement became violent in some places. In February 1922 in Chauri Chaura, Uttar Pradesh, people turned violent and set fire to a police station. 22 policemen were killed in this incident. Gandhiji was against violence. The movement slowed down in urban areas. He thought that it was necessary to train the people in non-violent satyagraha. So, Swaraj and plantation children, what happened is the workers of tea plantation, they had their own understanding of Swaraj. They had their own understanding of Swaraj. So for them, freedom means that the right, the freedom means only the way, the right for them to freely in and move out of the estate. They want to move freely in and out of the estate, their enclosed places. That is the only thing in their mindset that freedom is. These workers were not allowed to move freely out of the tea gardens without permission from their leaders. So, because of the Inland Immigration Act of 1859, which bound them to follow this rule of confinement. They thought that non-cooperation movement was a sign of Gandhi Raj, which would enable them to get free and own land in their own villages. Therefore, they left the tea gardens and again went back to their homes. However, what happened is they were not able to do so, as there was a railway and steamer strike. So when they were freely thinking to move out from there and go back, when they were not willing to work and go out of that place, the railways and steamers, the sea steamers means ships, right? Everything was in the strike. There is no way of transport for them to go. At last, again they were caught and beaten up by those British police as they were trying to running away. Okay. Now, the movement carried by these groups were not included in the Congress program. The Congress program, they didn't guide them as to go out of their jobs, stop their jobs immediately and go somewhere else. They are doing in their own way, right? So, this was not supported or included in the Congress program. They made up their own interpretations and imagined it to be a time when all their hardships and troubles would end. Still, what happened is when tribals raised the slogan of Swatantra Bharat and chanted Gandhiji's name, one could see the unified agitation of Indians in them. When they related themselves with the movement of Congress, which was initiated by Gandhi, they were actually identifying with the movement which was far beyond their local, which were like local areas. Okay, that is why they had withdrawn this non-cooperation movement. So, significance of the non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement was a large scale mass movement. It attracted common people from all social groups. Non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement went together, so they promoted Hindu-Muslim unity. Peasants and tribals like movements became peasants and tribals movements became a part of the Indian national movement. It was a non-violent movement, so it popularized the Gandhian idea of non-violent satyagraha. Now next one, Simon Commission, Indian Statutory Commission. So it was a statutory commission set up by the British under Sir John Simon. It was asked to study the constitutional system in India and suggest changes. India opposed the Simon Commission because all the members of the commission were Englishmen. There were no Indian in it. It did not provide any hope of Swaraj to Indians. Okay. So now that we know about the non-cooperation movement and the way it was perceived by various groups, so now let's discuss about civil disobedience movement, children. Okay. So when we talk about say Simon Commission civil disobedience movement, as the non-cooperation movement was turned violent in many places of India without the permission or without the program of Congress, in February 1922, Gandhiji decided to withdraw the movement. He decided to withdraw the movement. He felt the need for proper training. He felt that proper guidance, proper training should be given to the people who were fighting in this non-cooperation movement. Okay, the need of proper training satyagraha is before any kind of mass struggle, because if once ideology goes wrong, the whole team, the mass people will be getting into struggle. So on the other side, what happened is within the Congress, were some leaders who were not in favor of any mass struggle. So they decided what to participate in the provincial elections, which were set up by the government of India Act of 1919. So their view was that they should oppose British policies with the council, and what happened, bring reform and also prove that these councils lacked the true democracy. Like the true democracy. Now look. Lahore Congress of 1929. Lahore Congress of 1929. The Congress session was held at Lahore in 1929 under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru. Following decisions were taken. The Congress declared Purna Swaraj as its aim. It was decided to celebrate 26 January every year as Independence Day. It was decided to start the civil disobedience movement to win Purna Swaraj. So here what happened is C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru were in favor of returning back to the council politics. Hence they formed what Swaraj Party. But what happened is the young leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, they stressed on more mass struggles which present the agitation of Indians towards the oppressive policies of the Britishers and full demanded for full what? Independence. So while there was a situation of internal debate and disagreement, there were few factors that led to a change in the Indian politics during the late 1920s. So let us discuss what it was, children. So during the late 1920s, what happened is the world was facing the situation of economic depression. The price of agricultural goods fell and this led to the decline of exports. This fall in the prices began during 1926 and collapsed after 1930. It was a very hard time for the peasants as they were not getting the right price for their produce. Hence, they were not able to pay off the taxes. So, the situation of unrest was prevailing in rural areas by 1930. So, at that time, what happened is, on the other hand, the new Tory, like the Conservative Party government in British, they set up a commission under Sir John Simon. Sir John Simon. The commission was constituted of British members only. This was only the constituted members of British members, and there were no Indian members in that party. So the main function of the commission was only to look into the constitutional system in India and suggest the transformation, reforms. And as there were no Indian member involved, so it was all opposed by the Indians. When Indians were not involved in this, what happened automatically? They started opposing this movement. And when the Simon Commission arrived in India, it faced like opposition by the people at various places who greeted them with the slogan Simon go back. They don't know whether it is an advantage or disadvantages. The only thing which they have in the mind is that Indians were not involved in it, so we must not follow this thing. So when this Simon group entered into our state, the slogans, the mass chorus slogans were sang like Simon go back. Each and every party such as Congress and the Muslim League demonstrated against the Simon Commission. Soon what happened? Britishers tried to pacify the situation by making an attempt to win back the loyalty of England. Even the Britishers also they struggled a lot to get back our Indians' loyalty back again. Okay. They tried to pacify or tried to cool down the situation. So in October 1929, Lord Irwin came he came up with an unreal promise of granting dominion status to India. So later what happened? After seeing all these things, civil disobedience movement started increasing more and more, and the movement has came like what happened is it was by seeing all these things it was decided to start the civil disobedience movement to win the Purna Swaraj. So what happened is here if you see children the Congress session it was held at Lahore. A session was held at Lahore in the year 1929. So under the presidency for this session the leader is Jawaharlal Nehru. Under his leadership these three following sessions were taken, following decisions were taken. First decision is The Congress declared Purna Swaraj as its aim. The aim of the Congress is what? Only the Purna Swaraj. Second one is it was decided to celebrate 26 January every year as Independence Day. What is the second decision? Every year on 26 January we have to celebrate the Independence Day. Next, now we are celebrating it as Republic Day. Okay, children? Now, third one is it was decided to start the civil disobedience movement to win. We have to start a civil disobedience movement. Why? To only win the Purna Swaraj. So, this is the detailed description about the how they have started the civil disobedience movement. Okay, children, and we have discussed about towards civil disobedience movement and Swaraj in the plantations, and how Sita Ram Raju helped, and how Baba Ramchandra and how Jawaharlal Nehru, under the motivation of Mahatma Gandhi and few others, how they had started in their own perspectives. So how different strands of movements we have seen, like different strands of movements in the cities, towns, villages, tribal people. Okay, all these were discussed today. So with this we have come to our session, and we have come to the end of the session. So in the last session we have discussed about the non-violent methods, how Gandhiji organized the satyagrahas, and in this session we have discussed about the different strands within the movement, like in town, cities, and how the civil disobedience movements have started, and who all the leaders struggled, who leaded their groups both in violence and non-violence way, and how many actions movements were called back, taken back by our Gandhiji and Congress group, right? All we have discussed today. So let us end this session with these children. Your today's activity is, like, you have to find the answers for these 6 questions. The answers is from the lesson itself. If you listen to the video again, or if you see the PPT slides one by one which I have taught you today, you will find the answers in that. Okay, or else if you need, you can just go through the Google and find out the answers. Be prepared with the answers, so that after this session in the Zoom class I will ask you all these 6 question answers. Okay, I will ask the answers for these 6 questions. And another activity for you is, children, you have to, in the last session I have given question answer 1 and 2 to write in the classwork, right? So these are the 2 questions which I have asked you to write in the classwork. So you have to write these both 1 and 2 questions, and then you have to write your home test, get your parents' sign and post it in the group. Children, please don't post the classwork content. I'm often instructing you not to post the classwork content, post only the activities. Okay, the teachers has to download all your files. Think of that, children, only just post only the activities, that too along with the parents' sign. Classworks we will ask you to submit one day in direct, so that you will get corrections in the classwork note manually. Okay. So with this, let us complete the session. Let us stop this session with this and meet you in the next session, children. So this is your Priya ma'am from Alpha Group of Institutions, children. Thank you. Bye, children.